Hey everybody, how's it going? So today we're going to get started working on yet another dead MacBook. This MacBook appears to not be turning on. It's an A1707 Touch Bar 15-inch MacBook Pro. Let's get started and see if we can figure out what's wrong with it and make it work again. First thing I need to do is get my pentalobe screwdriver, which is not here, although it used to be here, which means that somebody is going to die. Never mind, we just found it. Someone's life has just been saved. 5 volts, 330 milliamps. 20 volts, 340 milliamps. Note that the amperage draw is the same regardless of the voltage. We're getting 330 to 340 milliamp draw. It's static, it's not moving up and down, but above all, it stays the same whether it's at 20 volts or 5 volts. The first thing that I'd like to do here is if we have a short on our PP bus G3 hop, one of the main power rails. Let's get Paul Daniels' amazing software up on the screen. Ah, a PP bus G3 hot short. Wonder where that could be. Let's take the board out of the case and see if we can locate it. I don't have another Cat 6 cable in my office yet, so I won't be able to plug in the thermal camera. Luckily, I have a face, and I'm going to use that face to try and find out where my short circuit is. Are you all ready to help me locate the cause of this short circuit in this MacBook? Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm glad to hear that you're all willing to help me as I try and fix this MacBook. I'm never going to have a camera that's mounted properly, because that would take time. Time that I don't have. It's always going to be a little shaky camera above my head. That's just the way it is here at Rossman Repair Group. It's just the way it is. Let's say a big thank you to every single one of us here that decided to tune in for the stream. Thank you to all of you people on YouTube and Twitch. Wow, my screwdriver rolled over and fell on the floor, and the screw is still attached to it. That's crazy. That was one stubborn screw right there. Have any of you ever had a stubborn screw in the past? Okay, I think I have an idea where my problem may lie with this computer. Let's see if we can find it. And show you all, so that maybe you can learn a little bit of board repair. Okay, now one of the things that you may see, if you're looking at the screen, right on the bottom corner, is a huge burn mark. See that burn mark? This is an Apple product, so every now and then, it's going to blow up, just because. How they get you to buy a new one. So let's take a look and see what's going on that section of the board. This looks a little funky. Look at that. Look at that. Apple said this machine was damaged by liquid. I don't happen to see any liquid, though. Do you? Apple told this customer there was liquid damage. But if you take a look around the board, there's not a speck of liquid damage on it. I don't see any liquid. I just see a machine that decided to blow itself up for no good reason. Let's take a look closer into the microscope. Yeah. See that? That does not look like liquid damage. That looks like a little capacitor that exploded. Why did it explode? Ask Tim Cook. Speaking of explosion, check out the flickering microscope light I have. So, a lot of you suggest that I get that little polarizer filter. I found one that fits my microscope for about $120 at Adorama, but that requires more light on the microscope than what I have. So what I did to make it work was I started pumping more voltage through my microscope light. I overclocked it, and now it flickers. It's actually not happy with me trying to put 15 volts through a microscope light. So it flickers every now and then. I think I'm just going to keep it like that. I have hit a point of shock with my new space where I am tired of spending money, and no new money will be spent for a while on any sort of upgrades or of equipment. Got several new stations, lots of new stuff, lots of new desks, new space, all this stuff, good stuff, but nope. I'm going to let that thing flicker until it dies. I'm going to keep using that microscope light until it looks like the inside of this Apple product here. Now this thing's probably going to be kind of welded to the board, so it's going to be interesting to get this off. I'm going to... there we go. Bam. Came right off. A little bit of flux and wick to suck up that old solder will help me out. So we've got some flux there. The polarizer worked, Rob Brown. It's not. I think it did its job. The problem now is not the polarizer. It's the fact that the increased light that I needed to put through this little cheap-ass ring light that I have has caused it to flicker and die. There are some nicer ring lights I've seen for like $100, but nope. I'm done. I bow out. Okay, now we're going to make this nice and clean before we put a replacement capacitor on this board. And remember, that capacitor didn't just kill itself, it was liquid damage. And if you believe that, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself in prison. All right. Gonna burn away some of that alcohol before we get started. Add some nice happy flux. Look at that happy flux right there. And add a small amount of solder to each pad. Not a lot, just a small amount. A small number, they would say. Now we add a modicum more flux, and we're going to hot air a new capacitor into place. And once we put a new cap there, we've likely will have solved our problem, and the board will work again. Liquid damage, my balls, Apple. Liquid damage, my balls. The only liquid I see on this board is the liquid that likely squirted out of the capacitor when it blew up inside this innocent customer's machine. Why, Apple? Why do you lie to your customers? Money. All they have to do is tell the truth. Imagine they'd have a much better reputation. But they don't tell the truth. And why don't they tell the truth? It's not that hard to do. Wow, that light is really strobing now. Look at that microscope light. It's not even that bad. It's getting 12.8 volts. Calm down, ring light. Calm down. Chillax. Look at that thing flicker. Trying to give my viewers a seizure. Aaron, when you say so we attribute to malice what could be attributed to stupidity now, it would be different if this were happening in 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, even 18 around the time that CBC News piece came out. But if you've been made aware of it, and you make no changes whatsoever for years and years on end afterwards, then at some point you're responsible for that stupidity. The very allowing that stupidity to continue to exist is in and of itself malice. I have not, Teresa. I have not seen your formal feral kitten. That capacitor looks different, but it's the same value. So it'll work just fine. gonna clean that up a little bit. I'm not gonna hot glue the capacitor. That would be the wrong thing to do. Dun, 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 dun. Your ring light is trying to seize your viewers like custom Caesar refurbished batteries. That's a good one. I like that. Yeah. I don't know why I got the polarizer. I tried to make the channel a little bit better. I did. But I did my best there. I overclocked that ring light as much as I could. It's not happy with me. Don't overclock the ring light. It makes it mad. Jay's 2 cents butchers his review Titan RTX. If he can get companies to send him a $2,500 graphics card to review, he's a better influencer than I am. The only thing I remember getting sent for free to review was this piece of shit Dynolite microscope. And I don't even want to call it a $700 microscope camera, because what they did is they took some webcam from, like, it looked like a webcam from 10 or 15 years ago that had a VGA output that they had to convert to HDMI with a box that looked like total shit. And they were selling it for $700. And now this was about 4 years ago that they sent me that thing to review. It was awful. Absolutely awful. And I reviewed that thing. Oh, I got a vacuum cleaner. I got a piece of shit vacuum cleaner that couldn't go over, like, I swear, that thing couldn't go over a speaker wire. It was such a piece of shit. It's supposed to be some sort of smart vacuum, but it was, that thing was worth probably like $30. All right, let's see if this thing turns on at all. It's taking 600 milliamps, 490 milliamps, 480 milliamps, 580 milliamps, 700 milliamps, and now we have an Apple logo. The Apple logo lets me know that this machine is turning on. This still could use a full suite of tests before we consider it to be done. And unfortunately, the people that are going to do the full suite of tests are a little backed up right now, since they were not doing work during the moving process because they were packing and everything else. So, but this looks like it is fully set. The problem with this machine was not liquid damage. That wasn't the problem at all. The problem with this computer is that a capacitor in it exploded without any seemingly good reason for it, which is fine. This happens in electronics. Sometimes capacitors are just going to say, I don't want to be part of a MacBook anymore, and just off themselves like that. The problem is with this is saying that it's water damage when it's not water damage. That's screwed up. The only liquid that was even somewhat here is, if you want to call what popped out of that capacitor when it exploded, liquid. It's kind of like showing up at a health insurance company and getting beat in the head with a baseball bat by the receptionist, and then being told by the underwriter you're not going to be able to get health care because you have a pre-existing condition of a concussion. Yes, you do, but why? Maybe I'd be better at analogies if it wasn't 11 o'clock at night. Who knows? Either way, that's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. See you in the next video.